The 1995 McDonald's All-American team might be the strongest class in the showcase's history, with 4 Hall of Famers as of 2025. And while guys like Wally Zerviak, Andre Miller, and Jason Terry were in this class and carved out solid careers, the hit rate here is off the charts. So let's take a look at what happened to every McDonald's All-American player from the 95 squad. Shareef Abdur-Rahim. Abdur-Rahim comes from a very athletic family. His brother Muhammad played college ball at the University of Detroit, and his younger brother Amir played at Southeastern Louisiana. However, the 6'9" Reef was the best of the bunch. During his senior year of high school, he dropped 31 points, 12.4 boards, and 4 blocks a game. Reef decided to leave Georgia and attend Cal. He was only with the Golden Bears for a season, but he certainly left an impact. Abdur-Rahim averaged 21 points and 8 boards to win Pac-10 Player of the Year, the first freshman to win the award. He was also named a third-team All-American before entering the '96 NBA draft. The Grizzlies picked him 3rd overall, and he was again an instant star, albeit on a pretty bad Vancouver squad. As a rookie, Reef led the team in scoring at nearly 19 a night, finishing 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting. He played in Vancouver for 4 more seasons and never averaged fewer than 20 points a night, adding solid rebounding and assist numbers as well. However, the team struggled to win games, and Reef was eventually traded to Atlanta in 2001 for a package that included Pau Gasol. Upon returning to his hometown team, Reef kept pouring in buckets, and at the time became the 6th youngest player in NBA history to reach 10,000 points. However, winning continued to elude him, and Reef was again traded to Portland for Rasheed Wallace and Wesley Person. Relative to expectations, he struggled with the Blazers, averaging just 14 points during his season and a half with the team. In 2005, he was supposed to be traded to the Nets, but he failed a physical, and the trade eventually fell through after Reef said, quote, "I don't feel I want to be a Net." Later that year, he signed with the Sacramento Kings, taking more of a backseat role to Mike Bibby, Metta World Peace, Kevin Martin, and Peja Stojakovic over the final 3 years of his career. He did pick up votes for 6th Man of the Year during his first season in Sacktown, but his knee continued to give him trouble, and Abdur-Rahim retired after the 2008 season. A few years later, he was hired by the Kings to be an assistant general manager. He continued to work with the team in an admin role through 2014. Reef took over as the Vice President of Basketball Operations with the NBA in 2016 and became the President of the G League in 2018. As of 2025, he still holds both positions. His son Jabri is playing college ball at Providence in 2025 after previous stops at Virginia and Georgia. Chauncey Billups. Billups technically didn't play in the McDonald's game due to a shoulder injury, but he did make the roster. He kept it local and signed to play at Colorado. During his 2 seasons in Boulder, Billups averaged 18.5 points, 5.6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals a night. He was named a second-team All-American during his sophomore season and led the Buffs to their first NCAA tournament appearance in 28 years, scoring a slight upset victory over Indiana before losing to North Carolina. The Boston Celtics made Billups the 3rd overall pick in the '97 draft. He and head coach Rick Pitino didn't mesh, and Billups was traded after just 52 games in his rookie season. The Raptors sent a package that included Kenny Anderson and Popeye Jones for the young guard. He finished out his rookie season and was subsequently traded again, this time to his hometown Denver Nuggets. During his 2 years in Denver, Billups struggled with injuries, playing in just 58 games. At the time, many considered him a bust, something that likely motivated Billups to turn things around. He signed with the Timberwolves in 2000 to back up Terrell Brandon. The guard put up solid minutes alongside Kevin Garnett and crew before eventually having a mini breakout in 2002 after Brandon suffered a knee injury. He helped the team to 50 wins and averaged 22 points in Minnesota's first-round loss to the Mavs. As a free agent, Billups wanted to go back to Minnesota, but the team preferred to see how Brandon would return from injury, so he signed with Detroit. Over the next 3 years, Billups grew into a star while the Pistons became legitimate contenders. As the lead dog on offense, Billups averaged around 17 points and 7 assists. Mr. Big Shot earned his nickname in 2002 with a few massive shots during the season. He also performed well in the playoffs, dropping 37 points in Game 7 in Round 1 to move past the Magic. Detroit made it to the Eastern Conference Finals that year before being swept by the Nets, which led to the team signing Larry Brown as its head coach. In 2004, Billups became an All-Star for the first time, also picking up an All-NBA second-team nod and getting votes for MVP. The Pistons won the title that season over the heavily favored Lakers. Billups won Finals MVP after averaging 21 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, and 1 steal a night on pretty incredible shooting splits. While he never reached the mountaintop again, Billups did make 3 more All-Star teams and 2 All-NBA third teams before being traded back to Denver in 2008. He continued to play well, making another All-Star team in 2010. Billups played through the 2014 season, spending time with the Knicks and Clippers before finishing his career in Detroit. He played some Big 3 ball when the league formed in 2017, but started his coaching career with the Clippers in 2020 as an assistant. In 2021, he became the head coach for the Portland Trail Blazers. Things haven't been great in the post-Damian Lillard era, but hopefully Billups can turn some of the team's young guards into stars. His daughter Sydney played college soccer at Texas, while Sanaya is on the track team at Howard as of 2025. Billups was enshrined into the Hall of Fame in 2024. Lewis Bullock. Bullock decided to leave Maryland and play his college ball at Michigan. Technically, none of his accomplishments with the school count due to the Ed Martin recruiting scandal, but if they did, he would be third all-time in scoring in Wolverine history because Bullock could always get a bucket during his 4-year career. That includes his senior season when he averaged 21 points a night. Bullock was a lethal three-point shooter and nearly automatic from the line during his time at Michigan. That was enough to get him drafted in the second round of the '99 NBA draft. The Timberwolves made the pick before trading him to the Magic. He signed with them for the preseason, but didn't make the final roster and never played in the NBA. Instead, Bullock spent a decade playing overseas, largely for Real Madrid. During his European career, Bullock won the Italian League scoring title twice, the Spanish League Finals MVP once, the Spanish League twice, and the Euro Cup once. He retired in 2012 and has largely been out of the public eye after moving back to Maryland. Vince Carter. Carter was a multi-sport athlete in high school, playing quarterback for his football team until he broke his wrist as a freshman and switched to volleyball. There, he won County Player of the Year as a junior, averaging 24 kills per match. For reference, none of his teammates averaged more than 1. He was also offered a college scholarship to play saxophone by Bethune-Cookman. However, basketball was obviously his future. VC averaged 22 points, 11 boards, 4.5 assists, and 3.5 blocks a game during his senior season. He decided to sign with the University of North Carolina to play under Dean Smith. He played sparingly as a freshman, averaging 7.5 points in 18 minutes a night. In '97, he became a consistent starter and upped his scoring to 13. In '98, the team used the famous 6-starter system because the Tar Heels had so many good players, one of which we'll also talk about in a few minutes. Carter averaged 16 points and was named a second-team All-American. During his final 2 seasons, he helped lead the team to back-to-back Final Four appearances, but could never win a title. A foreboding stat for his NBA future. VC left college after his junior season, and the Warriors made him the 5th pick in the '98 draft, but he was quickly traded to the Raptors for his UNC teammate Antawn Jamison. Air Canada took the league by storm, averaging 18 points during his first season to win Rookie of the Year and even receive a smattering of votes for MVP. Carter made the All-Star team every year during his time in Toronto, becoming a 20-plus points a night scorer and making 2 All-NBA rosters in the process. Of course, the most memorable moment of his Toronto run was the 2000 dunk contest, where VC tore the building down with some of the most eye-popping dunks fans had seen. That same year, he also helped the Olympic team to the gold medal with one of the filthiest dunks in basketball history over Frederick Weiss. However, Carter dealt with injuries, and the Raptors failed to find a second star to help him make the jump to contender, letting his cousin Tracy McGrady walk in 2000. That eventually led to a front office shakeup in 2004, and Carter was traded to the Nets. Playing alongside Jason Kidd and Richard Jefferson, big things were expected from Carter and the team. He did make 2 All-Star teams and continued to be a great scorer, but the Nets constantly dealt with injuries, and the trio never made a playoff run at full strength. The most notable moment of that stretch might be when he and Kidd became the first players in 18 years to record triple doubles in the same game during a 2007 overtime game. In 2009, he was traded to Orlando. This started a long run of Carter hopping from team to team, hoping to help create a title contender while still providing solid minutes. He certainly did the latter during his final decade in the league, even getting votes for Sixth Man of the Year in 2013, 14, and 17. However, despite spending time with Orlando, Phoenix, Dallas, Memphis, Sacramento, and Atlanta, Carter was never able to win a title, making it to the conference finals just once in 2010. After 22 years in the league, Carter retired in 2020 when the league shut down to the COVID pandemic. He was 43 years old and is the only player in NBA history to have appeared in a game in 4 different decades. If LeBron can play till he's 45, he'll have a chance to join him, but chances seem slim. Since hanging him up, Carter has been working in broadcasting as an analyst. He, T-Mac, and soccer player Josie Altidore purchased a minority stake in the NFL's Buffalo Bills in 2024. Carter was inducted into the Hall of Fame alongside Billups in 2024. Kris Clack. Clack played his college ball in his hometown, signing with the University of Texas. The 6'5" forward spent 4 years with the Longhorns and was a double-digit scorer throughout his career, peaking at 17 points and 6.5 boards as a junior. He made 2 All-Big 12 rosters and 2 All-Defensive rosters in his final 2 seasons. The Celtics picked him in the second round of the 1999 draft, but Clack never played in the NBA. Instead, he spent several seasons playing in Italy before doing a short stint in the G League from 06 to 08. He retired after the season and took up coaching at the high school level. In 2019, he added PE teacher to his resume and continues to work as a teacher and coach as of 2024. Luther Clay. Clay started his college career at Purdue. He came off the bench for the Boilermakers that season, averaging 2.5 points in about 8 minutes a night. Clay decided to transfer after the season, but it was discovered that he had received an improper loan during his time at Purdue. That eventually led to the school forfeiting the 26 games he'd played during his freshman season, though Purdue was not stripped of its Big Ten title. Clay joined Rhode Island in '97, playing there for 3 years and averaging 10 points and 7 boards. The 6'9" center helped Cuttino Mobley take the team to the Elite Eight in '98, but never made it to the NBA. He's largely been out of the public eye since graduating, but continues to make appearances at Rhode Island games and has even been known to show up to practice and give the team some inspiration. Taymon Domzalski. Domzalski grew up hanging out with future NFL Hall of Famer Brian Urlacher, even featuring in the Linebackers children's book, The Middle School Rules of Brian Urlacher. The 6'10" big man signed with Duke for college ball. He spent 4 years with the Dukies, averaging 4.2 points and 3.4 rebounds. His freshman season was his best, at 6.5 points and 5 boards, but he was largely a bench player during his college days. That said, he excelled in the classroom, becoming the first and only player to earn a medical degree and become a physician under Coach K. Before entering that career, Domzalski spent some time playing overseas. He wrapped up his playing days in 2001 and works as a radiologist in Illinois as of 2025. Kevin Garnett. Garnett left his high school in South Carolina to play at Farragut in Chicago after a rather ridiculous incident where KG was arrested. There, he dominated the Illinois hoop scene, averaging 25 points, 18 boards, 6.7 assists, and 6.5 blocks a night. He won the MVP at the McDonald's game, and at one point was playing a pickup game against NBA legends, including Scottie Pippen. After the game, KG claims that Isaiah Thomas came up to him and said, "You just took on Scottie Pippen. Scottie's the best player in the league. You could play in the league right now." With a 2-time champ like Zeke telling him that, Garnett decided to skip college and head straight to the NBA, the first player to do so since 1975. Had he gone to school, KG said he likely would have gone to Maryland. Sadly for Terps fans, that didn't happen, and the Timberwolves picked Garnett 5th overall in the '95 draft. Under new head coach Flip Saunders, KG started his rookie season coming off the bench, but he eventually became a starter and averaged 10 points, 6 boards, and 1.6 blocks a night to finish in 6th for Rookie of the Year voting. Ahead of his second season, Minnesota traded for fellow 95 McDonald's All-American Stephon Marbury, who I'll talk about in a minute. Alongside Starbury, KG upped his numbers to 17 points, 8 boards, and nearly 2 blocks and 2 steals per game to make his first All-Star team. Minnesota made its first ever playoff appearance that season, losing to Hakeem Olajuwon's Rockets in a sweep. That said, it was clear that Garnett was going to be something special, and he signed a massive 6-year deal. The Big Ticket responded by becoming one of the best players in the NBA during the late 90s and 2000s. He spent the next 10 years in Minnesota and picked up 9 All-Star nods, 8 All-NBA nods, including 4 first-team selections, and won the 2004 MVP. On top of that, KG was a perennial contender for MVP and DPOY, getting votes for both awards nearly every season during his Minnesota tenure. However, the Timberwolves were never able to capitalize on his individual success with a title win. In fact, after making it to the Western Conference Finals in 2004, Minnesota didn't even make it to the playoffs during KG's final 3 years. A big reason for that is that the team lost several draft picks after offering Joe Smith an under-the-table deal in 2000. Regardless, KG started to become frustrated at the team's struggles, and he was eventually traded to the Celtics in 2007. Joining Paul Pierce and Ray Allen to form the Big Three, KG immediately enjoyed success. Not only did Garnett finally pick up a DPOY after years being in the hunt, but Boston won a title over Kobe Bryant's Lakers in 2008. Over the next 5 years in Boston, KG picked up a few dings, missing chunks of each season, but was still playing well when healthy, especially on defense. Unfortunately, the Celtics were never able to match their initial success, especially after LeBron James and Chris Bosh, and later Ray Allen, joined forces in Miami to form their own Big Three with Dwayne Wade. In 2013, the Nets made a massive deal to trade for KG, Pierce, and Jason Terry for several future first-round picks and a handful of solid players. 2 of those picks would famously later become Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. KG's numbers really started to fall off during his time in Brooklyn, averaging below 10 points a night for the first time in his career. He spent 2 years with the Nets before being traded to Minnesota to finish his career. When he retired in 2016, KG was a 15-time All-Star, 9-time All-NBA nod, 12-time All-Defensive Player, 4-time rebounding champ, 1-time DPOY, and 1-time MVP. Oh, and I forgot to mention that he was on that 2000 Olympic roster with Vince Carter when they won a gold medal. After hanging him up, KG has been heavily involved in the media, even appearing in the Adam Sandler film Uncut Gems in 2019. Garnett's daughter Capri announced that she's joining the Michigan Wolverines volleyball team in 2025. He is the 3rd member of this team to join the Hall of Fame, getting his nod in 2020. Derek Hood. Hood played his high school ball in Kansas City before signing with the University of Arkansas. With the Hogs, the 6'8 forward averaged 9.5 points and 7.6 rebounds over 4 seasons. His senior year was his best, averaging 12.4 points and 10.3 boards to make his 2nd All-SEC team. Hood went undrafted in '99, but signed with the Hornets during the season. He played in 2 games before being waived. Hood then spent a few years playing in the CBA, making the league's all-rookie team in 2000. He also spent some time in Italy and France before leaving his playing days behind in 2005. As of 2020, he was coaching middle school basketball and teaching math. In an interview, he said he was hoping to move to the high school level in the next few years, but I wasn't able to find anything suggesting that he'd made the jump as of 2025. Randell Jackson. The 6'11 big left Massachusetts to play college ball at Florida State. Jackson grew into a double-digit scorer with the Noles, peaking in '98 with 13 points and 5.5 rebounds a night. He decided to skip his senior season, but went undrafted in '98. He spent a few years playing in the CBA before getting a contract with the Wizards in '99. Jackson played in 27 games, starting 8 and averaging 4.2 points and 2 rebounds a night. He signed with Dallas the next year, but only played in 1 game before being waived. Jackson spent the next decade playing overseas, with stops in Israel, Venezuela, Greece, Puerto Rico, China, Mexico, Argentina, and Hungary. He retired after the 2008 season, Take the next bit with a massive grain of salt, but he might have gotten into real estate, though I'm not 100% sure the profile I found is him, or if it's another Randell Jackson in his 40s. Antawn Jamison. I briefly mentioned Jamison earlier because he joined Vince Carter at UNC after averaging 27 points, 13 boards, and 4.5 blocks during his senior season at Providence High School. Jamison was an instant star for the Tar Heels, averaging 15 points and 9.7 rebounds during his freshman season. The next year, he raised his scoring to 19 and was named a second-team All-American. In '98, Jamison took his game up another level, averaging 22 points and 10.5 rebounds to win the ACC Player of the Year, the Naismith Award, the Wooden Award, and most of the other Player of the Year awards. The Raptors picked him 4th overall in the '98 draft and traded him to Golden State for Carter on draft night. He played there for 5 seasons, becoming a 20 points a night scorer during year 2. He averaged 20 points and 7.5 rebounds a night during his Warriors run, but was traded to the Mavericks in 2003. That Dallas team was loaded with talent, so Jamison came off the bench for most of that season. He averaged 15 points and 6.3 rebounds to win 6th Man of the Year. Ahead of the 2004 season, he was traded to the Wizards, reuniting him with Gilbert Arenas, who he'd played with at Golden State. The duo partnered with Larry Hughes and then Caron Butler to turn the Wizards into a perennial playoff team. During his 6 years in Washington, Jamison made 2 All-Star teams, but the Wizards only made it past the first round once, losing to the Cavs in the first round 3 straight seasons. In 2010, those Cavs were hoping to get LeBron James some superstar help. When a potential Amari Stoudemire trade fell through, they traded for Jamison. Unfortunately, he wasn't enough to take Cleveland over the hump, and after the season, LeBron famously took his talents to South Beach. Jamison stuck with the Cavs for 2 more seasons, averaging around 18 points and 6 boards. He then spent 2 seasons in LA, one with the Lakers and one with the Clippers, before retiring after the 2014 season. He's since done some broadcast work and scouting for the Lakers, and worked as the Wizards' director of pro personnel. His sons, AJ and Rucker, are still in high school, but it seems like they might have D1 potential. As of 2025, Jamison is one of 2 players, the other being Tom Chambers, who have more than 20,000 career points and are eligible for the Hall of Fame, but haven't been elected. Stephon Marbury. Marbury became well known after he was touted as the next great NYC point guard during high school, picked by many to follow in the footsteps of guys like Mark Jackson and Kenny Anderson. A top 5 player in the class, Marbury signed with Georgia Tech to play college ball. He only spent 1 year in college, but quickly made a mark, averaging 19 points, 4.5 assists, and 2 steals a night as a freshman. He was named the ACC Rookie of the Year and a 3rd-team All-American as the Yellow Jackets made a run to the Sweet 16. The Bucks picked Marbury 4th overall in the '96 draft, but traded him to the Timberwolves on draft night. He dropped 16 points and 8 assists as a rookie alongside KG, helping lead the team to the playoffs and finishing in 2nd for Rookie of the Year voting. Minnesota again made the playoffs in '98, and fans were hopeful that the duo would eventually bring a title to the city. Sadly for them, Marbury demanded a trade during the lockout-shortened '99 season and was dealt to the Nets midway through the year. In New Jersey, Marbury continued to grow as a player, making the All-NBA 3rd team in 2000 and his first All-Star game in 2001, while averaging more than 20 points and 8 assists during his time with the team. After the 2001 season, he was traded to Phoenix for Jason Kidd. Marbury partnered with Amari Stoudemire and Sean Marion to take Phoenix to the playoffs in 2003, making an All-Star and All-NBA 3rd team appearance during the season. The next year, he was traded to the Knicks. He also had the unfortunate distinction of playing for the 2004 Olympic team that lost the gold medal for the first time since NBA players were allowed to represent the US. Marbury spent 5 seasons in New York. While he continued to post solid stats, averaging 18 points and 7 assists over that stretch, the Knicks failed to win games, and Marbury often feuded with coaches Larry Brown and Isaiah Thomas. In 2009, he joined the Celtics after New York bought out his contract. He averaged 4 points in 23 games. That was his final season in the NBA, but Marbury did spend the next 8 years playing in China, winning 3 league titles, a finals MVP, and the 2013 international MVP. He also coached in the league in 2019 and made a ton of money selling his shoes there. Speaking of his shoes, Marbury partnered with the now defunct Stephen Barry's in 2006 to sell his signature shoes and clothing under the Starbury brand. The sneakers cost about $15 and was his way to provide kids with a cheap way to get fashionable basketball shoes. As of 2025, Marbury is still living in China. His son Stephon Marbury II is joining Cal as a preferred walk-on in 2025. Jelani McCoy. McCoy kept it local and played college ball at UCLA. During his freshman season, he averaged 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 3.3 blocks a night. Unfortunately, that would be the best season of his 3-year career. Not that he completely fell off the map, but his numbers never took the next step. However, it is worth noting that he was suspended during his junior season, missing about 3 months of that season. The Supersonics picked him in the second round of the '98 draft. During his 3 years in Seattle, he averaged 4.5 points and 3.3 rebounds in about 15 minutes a night. The 6'10 center then joined the Lakers, winning a title in 2002. Of course, he was injured for most of that season and wasn't on the team's playing roster, but still, he's got a ring. He then bopped around to several different teams over the years, playing for the Raptors, Cavs, Hawks, and Nuggets from '03 to '08. His best stretch came in Toronto when he averaged 7 points and 5 assists while playing in 67 games. McCoy continued to play through 2012, spending time in China, Italy, Ukraine, Spain, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, and Mexico. As of 2025, he works as an executive producer with All the Smoke, the podcast hosted by Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. BJ McKie. McKie was born in Virginia, but played high school ball at Irmo in South Carolina. He stayed in-state for college, playing for the Gamecocks. He was an instant star, averaging 15 points as a freshman. His numbers would hover around 17 over his career, and he was named a 3-time All-SEC player. However, he went undrafted in '99. Instead, McKie went overseas, playing through 2010. While he played in Cyprus, Germany, Italy, Israel, and Argentina during his career, his most successful stretch came in Germany. There, he won the league scoring title twice, made 1 All-Star team, and was named the 2004 Best Offensive Player. Soon after retiring, he jumped into coaching at the college level. As of 2025, he's working as an assistant at Wake Forest. Ron Mercer. Mercer won 2 Mr. Basketball awards in Tennessee before transferring to Oak Hill Academy to finish his high school career. The 6'7" forward joined Kentucky for college ball. During his first season, Mercer came off the bench to average 8 points for a team that won the national title. As a sophomore, he became a starter, averaging 18 points and 5 rebounds, en route to making the first-team All-American squad and winning SEC Player of the Year. The Wildcats made it back to the national title game, but lost to Arizona by 5. He decided to skip his final 2 seasons and enter the '97 draft. The Celtics picked him 6th overall, reuniting him with former UK teammate Antoine Walker and UK coach Rick Pitino. Interestingly, Pitino went on record before the draft saying that Mercer shouldn't be drafted highly because he didn't have the talent to play at a high level in the NBA. Of course, that turned out to be a ploy to get Mercer to drop to Boston. During his rookie season, Mercer averaged 15 points a night. He raised that number to 17 in year 2 before being traded to the Nuggets ahead of his 3rd season. Mercer played in 37 games before being traded again, this time to Orlando. Ahead of the 2001 season, Mercer signed with the Bulls. During his first season in Chicago, Mercer had his best season, averaging nearly 20 points a night. He scored about 17 a night during his second season with the Bulls, but was traded midway through the season to Indiana. He moved into a reserve role and would never average more than 10 points again. Mercer played through the 2005 season, doing short stints in Indiana, San Antonio, and New Jersey. Since then, Mercer has continued to be involved with the game through many youth camps and public speaking gigs. Sam Okey. Okey started his college career at Wisconsin. His freshman season was his best, averaging 12 points and 7 boards a night. Okey was named the Big Ten Freshman of the Year for those efforts. His numbers slowly dipped over the next 2 seasons, with Okey only playing 9 games during his junior year. He transferred to Iowa after the season, but broke his wrist after just 7 games, ending his college career. He did participate in pre-draft workouts, but wasn't selected and went to Turkey to play for a bit before playing in the CBA and leaving the game behind. As of 2025, he's working in business back in Wisconsin while doing some AAU coaching. Paul Pierce. Pierce played his high school ball at Inglewood, averaging 27 points and 11 boards as a senior. He then joined the Kansas Jayhawks for college ball, following that California to KU pipeline that Roy Williams had built over the years. During his 3 seasons, Pierce averaged 16.4 points and 6 rebounds, with his numbers steadily growing each season. During his junior season, he dropped 20 points a night to make the first team All-American list. Pierce skipped his final season of college to enter the '98 draft. The Celtics picked him 10th overall, a somewhat ironic turn of events for the young man who grew up a massive Lakers fan. That said, the truth was a bucket from the jump, dropping 16.5 points and finishing in 3rd for Rookie of the Year voting. By year 3, Pierce was averaging 25 a night, and that came after a significant incident during the 2000 offseason when Pierce was stabbed 11 times. He didn't average fewer than 20 points for the next 8 seasons, outside of a big dip to 19.6 in 2008. Of course, that was the year that Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen joined the squad to form the Big Three and win Boston a title, with Pierce winning Finals MVP. Truth played for Boston through 2013 when, as mentioned, he and KG were traded to the Nets. During that stretch, Pierce made 10 All-Star teams, 4 All-NBA teams, and won the 2010 three-point contest. After the trade to Brooklyn, he spent 1 year with the team before signing with the Wizards. He averaged 12 points a night in Washington and joined the Clippers after the season. True spent 2 years in LA, averaging fewer than 10 points for the first time in his career during those 2 seasons. After 19 years of scoring nearly 20 points a night at 19.7, Truth retired after the 2017 season. He then joined ESPN's broadcast team, working there through 2021, when he was fired after a relatively scandalous Instagram Live. In 2024, Truth joined Fox Sports 1 as an analyst. He also does a weekly podcast with Kevin Garnett. Pierce was elected to the Hall of Fame in 2021, making him the 4th player from this list to earn the nod. Ryan Robertson. Robertson joined Pierce at Kansas. The 6'5" guard mostly came off the bench during his first 2 seasons, averaging just over 4 points and 2 assists a night. He became a starter in '98 and raised his numbers to 8.3 points and 6.4 assists. The next season, Pierce and Rafe LaFrentz left for the NBA, and Robertson upped his scoring to nearly 13 a night to help fill that scoring void. The Kings picked him in the 2nd round of the '99 draft. He played in 1 NBA game, scoring 5 points. Robertson then spent some time playing in the ABA before heading overseas to play in the Netherlands, Greece, and France, leaving the game behind in 2005. After that, he moved back to Missouri and started a career in sales, where he continues to work as of 2025. Shammgod. Shammgod played high school ball with Meta World Peace before heading to Providence for college ball. He spent 2 seasons with the Friars, averaging 10.3 points, 6.6 assists, and 2 steals. In '97, he and Austin Crowshire led the team to the Elite 8. Shammgod skipped his final 2 seasons to enter the draft. The Wizards picked him in the 2nd round. He played in 20 NBA games, averaging 3.1 points and 1.8 assists. Shammgod then spent the next decade playing overseas, with stops in Poland, China, Saudi Arabia, and Croatia. In 2012, he joined the Providence staff as a player development coach, helping guys like Bryce Cotton and Chris Dunn improve their games. In 2019, he joined the Maverick staff and is still working with Dallas in player development as of 2025. Of course, he's most known for the Shammgod crossover move that even guys like Victor Wembanyama are still using today. His son God Shammgod Jr. played at Fairmont and was working in player development with the Celtics as of 2024. Robert Traylor. Tractor Traylor has always been known for his bulk. When he joined Michigan, the big guy weighed more than 300 pounds, likely contributing to him breaking a backboard during a '95 game against Ball State. Still, he was a solid player for the Wolverines, averaging 9 points and 6 rebounds off the bench as a freshman. Those numbers continue to go up over the years, reaching a peak during his junior season with 16 points and 6 rebounds a night. However, it was his ties to booster Ed Martin that would eventually steal all the headlines. As mentioned, the Wolverines were hit with heavy sanctions, and Traylor received 3 years probation for tax fraud. Traylor skipped his senior season, and the Mavs picked him 6th overall in the '98 draft. they immediately traded him to the Bucks for Dirk Nowitzki. Traylor did spend 7 seasons in the NBA, but often struggled with weight and health. He averaged 4.8 points and 3.7 rebounds across his career, while Dirk made the Hall of Fame, making this one of the worst trades in NBA history. Traylor was out of the NBA after 2005, following heart surgery and a failed physical. He spent the next 6 seasons playing overseas, with stops in Puerto Rico, Turkey, Italy, and Mexico. Sadly, Traylor passed away in 2011 at his home in Puerto Rico. Wayne Turner. Turner joined Mercer at Kentucky. He spent the first 2 years mostly coming off the bench to average about 5 points, though he was a solid defensive player. In '98, he became a starter, averaging 9 points and 4 assists, en route to the team winning its second title with Turner on the squad after he, as mentioned, picked up his first as a freshman. In '99, he raised his scoring to 10.5 points, though the team fell in the Elite Eight. The 2-time NCAA champ also made the All-SEC team once and won 1 SEC tournament MVP. He wasn't drafted in '99, but signed with the Celtics. He played in 3 NBA games, averaging 1.3 points and 1.7 assists. Turner then spent several seasons playing in lower-level domestic leagues, including a stint with the Harlem Globetrotters in 2000. He also played in Italy, New Zealand, and Australia before leaving his playing days behind in 2008. In 2010, he went back to school to finish his degree and worked as an assistant for the Wildcats coaching staff. In 2013, he joined Rick Pitino's staff at Louisville. He worked there in various roles through the 2018 season. Since then, he's been working as a high school coach in Kentucky. Albert White. White started his college career at Michigan. He was also implicated in the UM scandal after accepting $37,000, but was not named in later indictments and wasn't asked to participate in the grand jury investigations. He transferred from the school after his freshman season, joining Missouri after clashing with Wolverines head coach Steve Fisher. After sitting out a season, the 6'5" forward averaged 11 points and 5 rebounds with the Tigers. He upped those numbers to 12 and 9 as a redshirt junior, making the All-Big 12 team. White decided to jump to the NBA after the season. Many assumed he needed another year at the collegiate level, but White had just had his first child and needed the money. Unfortunately, he went undrafted in '99, quickly moving to the CBA. He made that league's all-rookie team and was named to the All-Star and second-team All-CBA rosters in 2003. He also played overseas, with stints in England, Korea, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, and Italy. Since retiring, he's been taking care of his family back in Missouri. His daughter Nyjah played college basketball at Bradley, and his son Nigel played football at Northwest Missouri State. And that's the full 1995 roster. I'll be back with 96 in a couple weeks, but if you have any videos you'd like to see, please share them below in the comments.